Hello everyone, this is Ambarish and you are watching EduSharp. I am sure that you have heard the story of the rabbit and the tortoise. What was the moral of the story? Slow and steady wins the race. But today I am going to tell you a new learning from the story, and that is, do not rest before the finish line. While writing an academic paper, conclusion is that point before the finish line, and you know the outcome if you become lazy here. So in this video today, we are going to discuss the factors that will keep us motivated to finish it first and then take rest. First of all, we shall talk about why conclusion is required, and then we will discuss about the different steps that we can follow in order to write a good conclusion paragraph. We shall also understand conclusion paragraph with the help of a real example. And in the end of the video, I shall also discuss some important tips which will help you in writing a good conclusion paragraph. So let's understand this. First of all, what is conclusion and why it is needed? The conclusion is the final paragraph of the article where you summarize the main ideas of the entire article that you have discussed in your paper. While writing the introduction paragraph, we answered a question why, means why this article is being written. On the other hand, while writing the conclusion paragraph, we answer the question so what, means why should a reader care about what you have written and analyzed. Therefore, you must know that the conclusion is the last chance to have a final words with your reader and create a good impression. The conclusion paragraph should be written in such a manner that when the reader puts down the paper after reading it, he should have a new perspective about the topic that he has read just now. I have already created a video on how to write a good introduction. If you haven't seen that video till now, I would request you to first go and watch that video, because a good conclusion can be written only on the basis of a good introduction. So first you should understand how to write a good introduction. Conclusion is almost opposite of introduction. In introduction, the flow of information is like an upside down triangle, whereas in conclusion, the flow of information is an upward triangle. In conclusion paragraph, first we provide very specific information like the topic or the research question or the thesis statement, and then we move on to more generic information like future scope of study. Let us see some important steps that we can follow in order to write a good conclusion paragraph. But before going to the steps, I would like to make a request. If you are here till now and you have understood what is conclusion, I would request you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It won't cost you anything, but it will help us a lot in growing. Step 1. Answer so what? See, first of all, you should have the answer of this question, so what? Means you should mention the importance of the information that you have presented in your paper. You can bring the importance of your topic from your introduction paragraph as well and rephrase it in your conclusion paragraph. At times, it becomes really tough to start the conclusion paragraph. We struggle thinking how to start. In this case, answering so what helps us a lot. You simply need to mention the topic here and its importance in brief. Obviously, you will not copy paste it from introduction paragraph, you will paraphrase it. Step 2. Write your thesis statement. Once you have written the topic and its importance, you should directly go to the thesis statement and write it in your conclusion paragraph. Here you can mention the research question as well if you do not have a thesis statement, but you have worked mainly on research question. This is done just to bring the attention of the reader back to the point that you have proved in your paper. Again, you should not copy paste your thesis statement from introduction paragraph. You should paraphrase it. See, mentioning the thesis statement or the research question in conclusion paragraph is like bringing the reader into a full circle where you first started from a main idea and then you brought him back to the same idea. Step 3. Summarize the main ideas. Now you have brought the reader's attention to the main point again, but this is not enough. You will have to show how you proved your point. See, your paper has different sections, and in different sections you have discuss different points in order to support your main arguments. You will have to bring the crux of all these sections together in the conclusion paragraph so that you can show the reader the path that you took to prove your point. Here, you have to ensure that you simply do not repeat all the sections in brief, but you have to summarize all the sections in one frame of supporting arguments. What I am trying to say is that do not just summarize, synthesize. Hope I am clear. Step 4. Provide the purpose. In the final paragraph of the conclusion, you have to provide a purpose to the reader. Why did he read your paper? What exactly he got out of reading it? Here, you will basically give some insights about the topic to the reader. The reader should have a solution to a problem or a question for the further research. You can also include a call to action. Overall, it will be your closer paragraph and therefore it should leave the reader with a vision. So guys, these were the 4 important steps that you can follow in order to write a good conclusion paragraph. Now, I am not saying that you should follow only these 4 steps. If your lecturer wants you to include something else, you should include that thing in your conclusion paragraph. Let's see an example of a conclusion paragraph in order to understand it in a better manner. So guys, in order to explain the conclusion paragraph, I have selected this particular journal article. This is the same journal article that I have selected in introduction video as well. So in order to understand the conclusion, we must understand the topic first. And then what are the research questions and research methodologies and what are the different sections in the paper, then only we can understand the conclusion paragraph in a better manner. The topic is in front of you: employee engagement and well-being in the times of COVID-19, a proposal of 5 C's model. So we can very clearly understand the topic. It is talking about how employee engagement is affected due to COVID-19 and what exactly the organizations are doing in order to handle the employees' well-being. And these authors are also going to propose a model of 5 C's. Now, if we look at the research questions, the research questions are here. What are the main factors influencing employee engagement? Then why are these factors relevant for well-being? And then how can firms address these factors? So you can see that there are 3 important points that they are going to investigate. First, they will identify the factors that influence the employee engagement. Then they will understand whether those factors are relevant or not, and then finally they will find out a way to address those factors so that the better employee engagement practices can be implemented. So now we have understood the topic and research question. Now let us have a quick look of the methodology. So if you see that the research methodology is mainly the literature review, to analyze the literature about employee engagement and well-being, a systematic review considering previously published studies about the topic was done. So you can see that the secondary research is used and a literature review is done. Now we will go to the conclusion paragraph and we'll see how the conclusion paragraph is written on the basis of the steps that we discussed earlier in the video. Now here, if we come at the conclusion paragraph, we can see that the writer starts the conclusion by saying this article has conducted an in-depth study on how the current pandemic is affecting the management of employee engagement. Now you see that in the very first line, the writers are just mentioning their topic. As we discussed earlier, that you should start your conclusion with your topic. You can see that they are not mentioning any common phrases like in summary, in conclusion, while summarizing the paper. These kind of phrases they have not used. They have straight away mentioned their topic, and the topic is mentioned in a paraphrased manner. They have not exactly copy pasted the topic. So the first criteria is met. Now based on this analysis, a model has been proposed. Obviously they have proposed a model and the model is this 5 C's model. They have mentioned the model as well. The employee engagement model proposed considers that conciliation, cultivation, confidence, compensation and communication are the factors that favor organizational health. So now you can see that in first paragraph of conclusion, they have given a brief of their topic and the research questions that they have taken. Now if you come in the next paragraph, here they are mentioning this research makes 2 contributions. So here basically they are trying to give this summary of each section. So obviously they have different section, and from each section they will put some summary. See, the first contribution is for scientific community, then they are talking about the study provides a series of practical implications as well, and then finally they are talking about the results suggest that in order to achieve employee engagement, managers should focus on facilitating remote work conditions so that employees can reconcile work and family life in this new scenario. So basically if you look at these second, third and fourth paragraph, you will find that they have summarized their overall idea from different section in one particular direction, and the direction is about giving a solution to a particular problem. The problem is employee engagement, employee well-being during the COVID-19, and they are giving a solution that if you are following the methods or the factors, the policies that is discussed in this paper, you will be able to achieve the solution. So they have mentioned the topic, then they have given their brief summary of each section. Now let us see in the final paragraph what exactly they have mentioned. So in the final paragraph you see the main limitation of this work is the theoretical nature of the study. So what they are saying that the study is not enough. There is a further scope of research on this particular topic. So as we discussed earlier, that in conclusion it is important that you give them a future scope of study. So this is what they are doing here. In order to fill this gap, a future research line might involve empirically testing the model. So what basically they are saying that they have done the research, but this research is mainly theoretical. There are no chance of getting the data. That's why they haven't done data collection and they haven't done empirical study. But there is a scope that someone else can do this kind of study. So this is how they are giving a future scope of research on their topic. Now here you see how they have given a closure statement. Additionally, it would be interesting to discuss the relationship or differences between employee engagement and motivation. So they have just given a closure statement that employee engagement and motivation also has a relationship. So if reader wants, they can do a research on this aspect of employee engagement as well, that whether employee engagement is related to motivation or not. So this is how you can see the conclusion paragraph is written. So what they have done, initially they have given the topic statement, then briefly they have talked about their overall research question and the model that they have proposed, and then finally they came in the second, third and fourth paragraph. They have mentioned the summary of each section and in such a way that it is giving a solution to a particular problem. Then finally they have given a closer paragraph where they are giving the future scope of research. So you can understand that this is how a good conclusion paragraph is written. In the end, you can see that they have not talked about any new idea in this paragraph, and there are no additional evidences or any kind of table or charts or diagrams are presented here in the conclusion paragraph. So these are few things about conclusion paragraph that we should take care of. This is how a good conclusion is written. So guys, we have reached to the final part of the video, and here we shall discuss about some important tips that will help you to write good conclusion paragraph. Tip number 1. Avoid common phrases. See, I told you at times it becomes difficult to think about how to start conclusion paragraph. And what we do here, we start writing it by using some common phrases like in summary, in conclusion, while summarizing. I would recommend you to avoid such kind of common phrases. Although using such kind of common phrases is not wrong. In a speech it's fine, but if it's an academic paper, it looks wooden. Tip number 2. Don't include your thesis statement for the first time in conclusion paragraph. If you are writing your thesis statement for the first time in conclusion paragraph, it means you have not written your introduction paragraph in a good manner. So first of all, you need to go ahead and improve your introduction paragraph. I have already talked about it in the introduction video. If you haven't watched it, I have provided the link in the description. please go ahead and watch that video first. Improve your introduction paragraph, then come to the conclusion and rephrase your thesis statement in the conclusion paragraph. Tip number 3. Don't include new ideas or evidences in the conclusion paragraph. See, if you include any new idea or any new evidence in the conclusion paragraph, it will definitely confuse the reader. If you have not discussed this new idea earlier and you want to include it in the conclusion paragraph because you just got it, so it's better first you go above in your main body of the paper and include it at the appropriate place, then only mention it in the conclusion paragraph. Bringing any new idea or any new evidence in your conclusion paragraph will lead your conclusion to a completely different direction. So please do not do it. Tip number 4. Do not copy paste. It sounds really silly to discuss here, but I have seen this. I have found writers doing it. They become so lazy just before the finish line that they just copy paste some information from different sections of their paper just to finish the conclusion paragraph. This is something I would say that destroys the entire game and you lose the race. So don't be lazy before the finish line. Make sure that your last impression is good impression. Tip number 5. Take care of the word count. You should ensure that you give enough importance to the conclusion paragraph. I have seen many students, they only write 2-3 lines in the conclusion paragraph and they just finish it. No, you should ensure that you have at least 10% of the total word count for conclusion paragraph. It is almost equal to introduction paragraph. So introduction and conclusion, both the paragraphs require 10% of the total word count. You have to ensure that you have enough word count in your hand for writing conclusion paragraph. You should not consume all the word count in the main body of the paper, and when you reach to the conclusion you have nothing in your hand. So you just write 2-3 lines and just finish the conclusion paragraph. This will not work. You will lose marks. So these were the 5 important tips for writing a good conclusion paragraph. Which one you liked the most? Let me know in the comment section. If you know any other tip that will help us in writing a good conclusion paragraph, please mention that in the comments below. So guys, this was all about conclusion paragraph. I hope you learned something new today, and if you liked anything in this video, I would request you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. If you have any feedback or suggestion on this video, please mention that on the comment section. And if you want me to create a video on any other topic, you can mention that as well on the comment section. We shall meet again in the next video. Till then, keep reading, keep writing. Thank you so much for watching.